Right now, I'm going to give you something most guys spend years trying to figure out. A ready-to-use message you can send to any woman you want to meet. And here's the thing. You will be genuinely shocked by the results. We're not talking about a 10 or 20% response rate. The conversion is high. Most women will not only give you their number, they'll actually be excited to keep talking. They'll be curious about you. They'll want to know more. All you have to do is copy my message and paste it into your conversation. You can literally do this today. Like right after watching this video. If this topic matters to you, if you're tired of getting ignored or left on red, hit that like button. It helps more people discover a tool that actually works, not another copy-paste template that every other guy is using, something that actually cuts through the noise. First, let me tell you what pushed me to make this video. I did something most guys would never think to do. I signed up on a dating site, but I created a profile as a woman. Not because I was bored, I was genuinely curious. I wanted to see what the landscape looks like from the other side. I thought maybe, just maybe, in the last few years, guys had finally figured out how to communicate. You know, with all the information out there, all the YouTube videos, all the advice floating around. Nope. Out of 200 messages I received in a single day, there wasn't one decent opener. Let me repeat that so it really sinks in. Not one message that a woman would actually want to respond to. 200 guys took the time to type something out, and every single one of them got it wrong. That's not a coincidence. That's a pattern. I want to quickly explain why this matters for you. Because here's the truth. If you can simply avoid the common, lazy mistakes that 95% of guys are making, you're already ahead of the game. You don't need to be smooth. You don't need to be some pickup artist. You just need to not be boring. And if you add my message on top of that, you're not just ahead, you're in a completely different league. You're playing chess while everyone else is playing checkers. Let me break down what I saw. About 30% of the messages looked exactly like this. Hey, how are you? What are you up to? How's your day going? These aren't just bad questions. They're the worst possible start you could choose. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you got a message like that and felt genuinely excited to respond? You don't. Nobody does. It's the conversational equivalent of beige wallpaper. Even if you said something provocative, something a little edgy, or even just sent a random string of letters and numbers, at least that would create some curiosity. At least she'd think, what's this guy's deal? That tiny spark of confusion or intrigue is worth more than 1,000 boring, how are you messages that all blend together. I'll give you an extreme example just to prove the point. Imagine you said to a woman, wow, you're kind of thick. She might reply, what, are you serious? And you come back with, no, I mean it in a good way. I'm actually into that. Then you turn it into a positive, playful conversation. Now, I'm not recommending this approach. But even this, even something that starts awkwardly, is better than the generic template that every other guy is using. Because at least it's real. At least it's human. At least it might get a reaction. So forget the boring questions forever. Delete them from your mental script. The second group of messages was even worse. These guys jumped straight to the ask, sometimes without even saying, hey. Messages like, let's meet up. Want to grab a drink? Let's go to dinner. Let's hang out sometime. Who are you? Where did you even come from? There's zero context, zero information, zero reason for her to say yes. About another 30% of the messages fell into this category. Agree to what? Go where? With who? And, most importantly, why? It makes no sense from her perspective. You're a complete stranger. She knows nothing about you. And you're already asking for her time, her energy, her presence. You know what it feels like? It feels like you're standing at a train station, minding your own business, and some guy in a leather jacket walks up to you. He opens his jacket, and you see cheap watches pinned to the inside. Need one? Good price, special deal just for you. He came out of nowhere. You weren't looking for watches. You weren't thinking about watches. There's no connection, no trust, no reason to engage. It feels shady. It feels desperate. Now imagine 30 guys like that walking up to you in the span of a few hours. You'd want to run in the opposite direction. That's exactly what's happening on these apps. That's why this approach is the worst. You're not starting a conversation, you're making a demand. And the third group? Guys writing things like, "Hey beautiful," "Gorgeous," "Cutie," "Baby, why are you so beautiful?" Did it hurt when you fell from heaven? Let's be real here, this is just another lazy template. Women have seen this 1,000 times. They're completely immune to it. There's zero originality, zero effort. It triggers no emotion at all, except maybe mild annoyance. So here's the bare minimum. At the very least, stop starting conversations like this. If you do nothing else, just stop being one of these guys. That alone will put you in the top 20%. Now let's talk about what actually works. I'm going to show you one specific approach you can use right now. I wrote it out so we can break down each sentence and understand exactly why it works. Let me read it to you first. Here it is. "Hey, I rarely swipe right on anyone here, but you seem like a rare type of woman I'm actually drawn to. I decided today I'm deleting my account. Pointless swiping and small talk don't get us any closer to real, warm, in-person connections. If you feel the same way, feel free to drop your number." Some people read this and think, there's nothing special here, it's just words. But try it. You'll be surprised. Actually, you'll be shocked. Because this simple message consistently gets responses. And not just responses, real conversations, real numbers, real interest. Let me explain why every single word matters, why this message works when almost nothing else does. Let's go sentence by sentence. I rarely swipe right on anyone here. What does a woman think when she reads that? Subconsciously, she's processing several things at once. First, this guy has options. He's not desperate. He's not swiping right on every profile that comes across his screen. He's selective. And if he has options, that means other women are probably interested in him. Women trust the judgment of other women. It's a social proof mechanism that operates below the surface. Right away, you're perceived as someone with value. She doesn't know exactly what kind of value yet, but she knows it's there. You're not approaching from a place of neediness. You're approaching from a place of choice. Next, but you seem like a rare type of woman I'm actually drawn to. Now, a lot of guys who buy into that fake alpha mindset think showing any interest lowers your value. They think you have to act like you don't care, like you're doing her a favor by even talking to her. That's not confidence. That's insecurity wearing a mask. There's a massive difference between begging for attention by saying, "You're hot," and saying, "Yes, I'm attracted to you. I have standards, and you meet them." One comes from scarcity. The other comes from genuine appreciation. And when I say rare type, that creates intrigue. It's specific. It's not generic praise she's heard 1,000 times. It makes her think, what does he mean by rare? What makes me different? Now she's curious. Now she wants to know more. Imagine if a woman wrote to you, "You seem like a rare type of guy." You'd be curious, right? You'd want to know what she sees. That's exactly what's happening here. Next, I decided today I'm deleting my account. This is subtle but powerful. It hints at a limited time opportunity. It's like saying, "Hey, this is your chance. I'm not going to be here forever. If you're interested, now's the time to act." Women respond to that, not because they're manipulative, but because humans in general value things that might not always be available. Plus, it adds authenticity. You're not just another guy farming for matches indefinitely. You're someone with a purpose, someone who values real connection over endless swiping. Then, pointless swiping and small talk don't get us any closer to real, warm, in-person connections. This is where the magic happens. First, we're naming something everyone is tired of. The endless swiping, the empty chats, the conversations that go nowhere. Nobody actually enjoys that. It's exhausting. It's hollow. When you say "I'm done with it too," you're not just speaking for yourself. You're speaking for her. You're articulating a frustration she feels, but rarely hears acknowledged. That creates resonance. That creates connection. And then you pivot to something positive, something everyone actually wants, real, warm, in-person connections. You're not just complaining about what's broken, you're pointing towards something better, something she wants too. This is contrast. First, the pain point. then the vision of something better. It's a classic persuasion pattern because it works. And finally, if you feel the same way, feel free to drop your number. You could also say, feel free to text me, or here's my number. But asking for the number directly usually works better. It's clear, it's confident. It gives her a specific action to take if she's interested. The key is, it's polite, respectful, and there's zero desperation. You're not begging, you're not demanding, you're simply opening a door and letting her walk through if she wants to. So what's the main takeaway from all this? You need to start practicing right now, not tomorrow, not next week, today. Look at your own messages and ask yourself honestly, what would the person on the other side think? Why would she say yes? Why would she say no? What feeling does this message create in her? Most guys never ask these questions. They just fire off messages and hope for the best. That's not a strategy. That's gambling. I know some of you might be thinking, why should I put in all this effort just to get a number? Isn't that desperate? Shouldn't it be easier? Let me explain something important. For me, it's not about whether she says yes or no. The goal is different. It's about understanding the process. It's about learning how humans connect. For me, this is research. I don't have time to meet everyone in person. And honestly, I learned just as much from the rejections as I did from the successes. Sometimes more. Every no taught me something. Every ignored message told me something about what doesn't work. Over time, patterns emerged. And those patterns turned into this message. For me, every woman was like a book I wanted to understand. I was curious about everything. Her past, her relationships, how she thinks, why things ended. I looked for patterns. I looked for contradictions. I tried to predict what would happen next. And then I got to see if I was right. Most of the time, you can see it in the moment. This is about so much more than just women. This is about learning how to think, how to understand people, how to see beneath the surface. It's easy to take shortcuts. It's easy to blame women and say, she's crazy, she moved on, she's just like all the rest. But what did you actually learn? Do you really understand? Can you actually influence outcomes, or are you just guessing and hoping? Anyone can talk about psychology. Anyone can throw around terms like attachment styles and love languages. But the guy who closes 8 out of 10 conversations, that guy actually knows something. The rest? They're just playing in the sandbox. They're celebrating small wins that don't actually matter. It's like a kid digging a hole at the beach, filling it with a little water and thinking he's crossed the ocean. Don't settle for that. Don't simplify things that much. If you stay in that sandbox with those toy-sized ideas about life and relationships, you're not going to build anything real. Not in dating, not in marriage, not in business, not anywhere else. That's just the truth. So here's where we start. We start by admitting we don't know much. We start by getting curious instead of getting defensive. We start by treating every interaction as a chance to learn something. If you feel like you're stuck right now, that's okay. It's normal. Most guys go through this, but it means it's time to stop doing the same things and expecting different results. It means it's time to really figure things out. The message I gave you today is a starting point. It's not the final answer, but it's a doorway. Use it, test it, see what happens. And more importantly, pay attention to what you learn along the way. If you want more breakdowns like this, real analysis, not just empty advice, and you don't want to miss the next video, hit like and subscribe. That's how the algorithm knows this content matters. That's how more people get to see it. Thanks for watching. Really, I put a lot into this one, and I hope it helps you move forward.